Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops. Coach Bill is a little busy this week, so I kind of hijacked. Not that I don't have other things to do. I do. We have 7 podcasts in our network, I think. But I told him take a week break, and I would jump on and just give kind of some of my thoughts with coaching youth basketball or coaching youth hoops. We're about to launch the Coaching Youth Hoops membership, which will give you everything you need to become a successful youth basketball coach. So my goal is the beginning of 2023. The first of 2023 is when we're going to launch. I know some people will be through the season and other stuff, but I'm going to try to, you'll have, how to pick an offense, how to pick a defense, drills to do, all sorts of stuff, everything you need to be a youth basketball coach. So go over and check it out. Get on the waiting list. I'm going to give probably the first 10 to 20 people that sign up a huge discount. Get you in, see what you need. We'll get on some calls. We'll talk about coaching youth hoops. But before we do that, as you do that, listen, I'm going to talk about some of the keys, I think, for being a youth basketball coach. What are those pivots? What are those things that can take you to the next level of being a successful, quote unquote? I paused there for a second because I was trying to think of what is successful. And it's not necessarily wins at the youth level. But what does it take to be a quote unquote successful youth basketball coach? And these are things that just today on my wintry walk with my dogs, Sanibel and Disney, that I was thinking about things that I thought could help you become a better youth basketball coach. So first of all, winning, it's not about winning. So I'm going to just start with that one, even though it's not on my list. I'm going to start it's not about winning. If it is about winning, you're not worried about the development of your young ladies or young men at that point. So we all want to win. We all want to put them in a position to win. But it's not winning at no cost. So I would say that winning needs to be put over onto the side. Sorry, I had to sit there and cough, so I paused for a second. That's the first thing. So winning is not everything when you're coaching, when you're at the youth level. It's really about teaching skills and teaching development. Okay. And there's more than one type of skill and one type of development as a youth coach that you want to be. You not only want to teach them the specific skills of dribbling and shooting and passing and stuff, you also want to teach them the leadership skills about communicating, about leading others, about showing up on time, about coming to practice, all those things. And again, there's a wide scale here of difference between the second grader and an eighth grader. But I think those skills are important. You want to build on those, and I'll come back to that in a second. So that's the second thing. Third thing is I think you want them to play multiple sports. So you don't want to be that youth coach that you can only play basketball. You can only do, and you can tell that I just jumped on here real quick. My phone dinged. But you want them to play multiple sports. And here's the reason. I think, first of all, you don't know in third grade what sport is going to be their sport if they're an athlete. And second of all, injury prevention has been proven scientifically that the more motor skills and more things that they can do, the less likely they are to have long-term effects and injuries. So you want them playing baseball and lacrosse and football. We'll talk about football, but soccer and basketball and swimming and everything, because they're using different motor skills. And as a coach, you also want them to go to specific things, so you don't know. Michael Phelps might have been a basketball player if his parents had been basketball players. So that's the next thing. Going into the negative again, don't press, don't play zone. Don't press, don't play zone. Don't press, don't play zone. Because you're, again, and there's a scale here of a difference between the second grade and the eighth grade, but teach them the basic principles of man-to-man, teach them location, teach them footwork, teach them, we've all been in those tournaments or those places where people have pressed, and you're superior and you're going to beat me in fourth grade because you've got the better athletes and you're going to press and we're going to turn over and you're going to score laps. But you're not developing them as basketball players and as individuals. All right. Next one is you want to build on the skill sets, and you want them to build on the skill sets. So going into my edgy mode here a little bit, you want some of those, you want them to develop the skill sets of, so a lot of small sided games, a lot of 2-on-2, a lot of 3-on-3, a lot of 4-on-4, where they're learning the skill sets and they're being involved in, ball fakes or shots or whatever it is. I think those are both extremely important. So the next thing is make sure it's fun. Please make sure it's fun. I've said this on multiple podcasts, but you do not want to be this young man or woman's last coach. And if it's not fun, they're going to give it up and they're going to go find something else that's more fun. So make it active, make it fun.
That's your money saying it's time for a McDonald's run. Because with new McValue at McDonald's, you get more than you expect. Like buy a 6-piece McNuggets and add a McChicken for just $1. Your money says let's go. Get more than you expect with new McValue. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
All practices at the youth level, especially the elementary level, there should be no standing. So if you're working on a 2-on-2 drill, hopefully you got enough people that everyone's going in and you have enough baskets. Now there's where you got to be a little creative about number of baskets, amount of time, and all that kind of stuff. And that's where coachingyouthhoops.com will help when we launch that membership site. But you want them to be active as possible. My objective when I was coaching youth hoops is no standing in lines. Zero. There was no standing in lines. They were maybe going to go drink, maybe they were doing that. But if they were standing in the line for more than 10 seconds, it was too much. And then you want to give successes, because again, you might have a team that's 0-12. You might have a team that's 12-1. You might whatever, but you want to build not only successes in practice, you want to build those successes in games, in practice, in drills, in shooting, and all of those kind of things. I know I've said this, and this isn't on my list of my random thoughts about coaching youth hoops. Is at the younger level, just make sure we're really conscious of not shooting. Those 3-pointers are too far. Those 3-pointers are difficult for them to shoot. They just don't have the range that they can't do it. So just make sure that you're giving them a positive direction. If they're in second grade and they can't get it up, then you should be working on layups. You should be working on ball handling. You should be working on passing. But I again think all of those are just random thoughts about things that can help you become a better basketball coach. What should you teach at the younger levels? Well, you should teach a lot of ball handling. You should teach layups. You should teach footwork. You should teach shooting form. You should teach ball handling. You should teach how to run. You should teach their gait. You should teach some of the basic passes, and don't worry about this. I was talking to a youth coach today. Don't worry about the specific plays or the out of bounds plays. Worry about those things as they develop, as they get older and later elementary and stuff. That's when you can extend the ball handling, extend the screening, extend what a cut is, and post moves and drop steps. Those things you can develop as they move toward middle school. Then you can work on press breaks. You can work on pressing. You can work more on footwork and rebounding. You can work on, the progression of the ball handling, the progression of the physicality of the game. So all of those things. So I hope this helps. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming and coaching youth hoops. I hope you enjoy this. Again, remember, go over and join the waiting list, coachingyouthhoops.com. Also, go over and make sure you check out all of our podcasts. Basketball Coach Unplugged. Doesn't matter if you're youth coach. Basketball Coach Unplugged. High school hoops. The rule of three offense. The funnel down defense. All of those podcasts. The combination defense. Maybe you're running against a box and one, and you want to know how to run one, or you want to know how to score against it. That would work too. So all of those things are helpful and successful, and they're down in the show notes. All right. Have a great day, everybody, and great week. And holiday season is upon us. Bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.